You're live, Rick.
Well, welcome to the first day of 11 days of global unity. Sorry, my voice is a little bit craggy today. My name is Rick Ulfik, and I am the founder of We the World at we.net. And I co-created the concept of 11 days of global unity with my dear friend, Troy Lush. Thank you so much for joining us for the opening panel of our 11 Days of Global Unity Summit. Today, we'll hear from John Raymer and Ben Bowler on the first of the 11 themes, unity. And our other 11 Days Summit panels also feature extraordinary visionary leaders, including Rian Eisler, Jonathan Granoff, Audrey Kitagawa, Dot Maver, Alan Ware, and many others. To see the full schedule and register for free, go to 11daysofglobalunity.org, or you can just go to we.net. So before we start, I want to acknowledge Angel Fullerton, Jana Larson, Callum Cintron, and many others on our We team, without whom this 11 Days Summit and all of We the World's activities could not happen. Thank you, Angel, Jana, and Callum. 11 Days of Global Unity goes from the anniversary of the tragedy of September 11th to September 21st, the celebration of the International Day of Peace, commemorating our collective journey from fear to hope. To take action with the 11 campaigns for change, Trends Magazine with editor Robert Levine and all the work of We the World, go to we.net. Now to moderate today's discussion and introduce today's panelists, I'm really happy to bring in Jana Larson, who coordinates our economic justice campaign, as well as so many other things for We the World. Welcome and thank you to the broadcast. Welcome to the broadcast, Jana Larson.
Thank you, Rick. I thought you were going to introduce John, but I'll do my best.
Some people need no introduction.
Well, this is true. I mean, how can you not know John Raymer? John Raymer is with Compassion Games and so many other activities. He's been working with the 99 Days of Peace Project, the World Unity Project. So he's been on just about every day doing something. And I know Ben Bowler can't be here from World Unity Week, but there will be a presentation that John's going to show, a video from Ben. I've been very excited to be able to work with them and attending every week's Wednesday gathering for the 99 Days of Peace. It's a great opportunity, and I know he'll talk about that and being able to join in with Mighty Networks and all the synergy circles. So John, I'll turn it over to you. My good friend and brother, John Raymer.
Thank you, Jana, and thank you, Rick, and everybody on the team for hanging in there, world. Oh my gosh. It really feels like a changing of the guard. It really feels as if we're at another critical moment, and I'm grateful for a chance to share it with you and the people who love We the World. The passing of the Queen, and just seems like everything. It's a challenge to be creative. And this idea of moving from fear to hope has served us all so well, Rick, for 21 years. But let's tell the truth, boy. We're not there yet. And I'm hoping and praying and giving everything I got, like so many of us, to really take on this challenge. How do we go from fear to hope? We're so rooted in fear right now. There's so many institutions that are crumbling. We see that we need to rise in unprecedented unified action. And that is happening. And we have some good news on a day like this to share. So, with your permission, let's move to hope sooner than the 11th day. And let me tell you what's happening. Today is a special day because we're putting out an announcement about this Peace Day Youth Convergence that's happening. And the Peace Day Youth Convergence is happening in all places in Auschwitz, Poland, in a place called the House of Hope. And I'm going to share with you, with your permission, we've put together a press release for today, and it just seems such a perfect moment to be able to share that here. So what's happening here is that the One Humanity Institute, so this is Nina Meyerhoff and her work for many, many, many years with Children of the Earth and One Humanity Institute, and she's been working with the Polish government to create a really transformative experience for the 2.5 million people who visit Auschwitz each year. You know, this is one of those spots on earth where, oh my God, some of the worst things ever to have happened occurred. Well, when the war broke out between Russia invading Ukraine, she transformed what the vision was to be into this bakery there that she'd been given, to turn that into a house of hope for Ukrainian refugees. But before that, she gave out 10,000 teddy bears to kids coming from the Ukraine who were really disoriented and lost. I mean, Nina's love for the world and passion and compassion is extraordinary. So here I'm going to read about the One Humanity Institute announces the opening of the House of Hope and the Peace Lab in Auschwitz, Poland. And this Peace Lab, before I read it, is dedicated to Philip Helmick, who so many of us knew. He's the director of peace at the Shift Network, and for many, many years worked with Search for Common Ground and Peace Corps. So this event is featuring a Peace Day Youth Convergence that we're calling End War, Build Peace Together. So I'm going to read a little bit here. One Humanity Institute is bringing life and hope to a place that has traditionally been one of the darkest places in our world's history. Next to the former Auschwitz concentration camp, a house of hope has been born out of a donated bakery and is now housing Ukrainian refugees looking for a safe place to call home. Within the House of Hope, a Peace Lab will serve as a central hub not only to connect young Ukrainian refugees with their teachers and families back home, but it will allow them to participate in a Peace Day Youth Convergence with others across the world. The youth of our time will have a chance to turn places of darkness into places of life and hope. To celebrate this pivotal time of turning darkness into light, there'll be 2 celebrations. So on September 17th at 10:30 a.m. EDT, a ribbon-cutting live stream broadcast to celebrate the official opening of the Peace Lab at the House of Hope. And like I mentioned, the Peace Lab is dedicated to Philip Helmick, longtime international peace builder who was loved by many around the world. This event is part of the opening ceremonies of Peace Week 2022 and can be watched on what we call the One.Stream. This is a website where all of the different events around Peace Week are going to be accessible. So on September 21st, this is the second event, the International Day of Peace, at 12:30 p.m. EDT, the Peace Lab will host a Peace Day Youth Convergence with participants not only from Auschwitz, but from Chicago and Poland and Ukraine and Rwanda, and all youth are invited. I mean, let's tell the truth here. The youth are challenged, and it's our responsibility to provide the authority, the power, the resources, everything. You know, where the situation with those with the legitimate authority don't have the capability, and those with the capabilities don't have the legitimate authority. So those of us who see the world as we all do right now in this challenging moment need to get behind the youth. And this is an opportunity to empower them. This youth Convergence on Peace Day is going to be the first official event coming from this Peace Lab at the House of Hope in Auschwitz. So every person can step and take a step forward to contribute to global peace. And all are welcome to join this opening ceremony on September 17th. That's this Saturday, opening Peace Week, and then the Peace Day Youth Convergence on the International Day of Peace on September 21st. So I'm thrilled that we're able to announce that here, get the word out about that. Grateful to We the World. I'm here to serve. I'd love to hear what Ben has to say. And now I don't know, do you want me to play that video? I don't know that I have the video. You know, we made it. Now, Ben's in Melbourne, so he couldn't be here. It's 3 o'clock in the morning right now. But Jana, I thought I did see something come in from Ben. Do you have it?
Well, I can't get to it right now, but I did see that he sent something.
All right, let's see if we can find that, because I'd love you guys to see it. So Ben Bowler from Unity Earth is a remarkable social innovator. And the Sign Network, which he's a member of, as is Rick, and has been working cooperatively for the last couple of years. We've done maybe a dozen of these online convergences where we have 20, 30 different Zoom rooms going, and there's an amazing confluence of folks coming together around this year's Peace Week. It's the 40th, it's celebrating the 40th observance of the International Day of Peace, which was Avon Madison's gift to the world that she dedicated herself and so many folks to. So if somebody else has it or sends it to me, or you want me to look for it, give me
I just put it in the chat. This is
all right. If you have it in the chat, then
I put it right in the chat from Ben.
From Vimeo. Okay.
Ben.
Do this. I'm going to bring it up on my screen. I'm going to share my screen if I have permission. And
do you have permission?
I think I do. Let's go here. Now hold on. Let me make sure I got the sound right so everyone could hear it well. So I'm going to share the sound. Here we go. All right. These are a couple minutes from Ben Bowler from Unity Earth. Is that what this is?
Yep.
Doesn't look like Ben, but okay, hang on. No, this is not the video. Maybe it is. No.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Ben Bowler from Unity Earth, and it's a tremendous joy and privilege today to be sitting down to talk about a recent pilgrimage to a sacred mountain.
Okay. Rick, that's a nice video. I bet it would be great, and that is Ben Bowler, but that's not the one he made.
Are you sure? Because he just sent it to me.
Yeah, no. All right, I'll play it.
Maybe it's screwed up.
Yeah.
Doing too many things.
It's no doubt it's great, but that's not the one that he made just for this. All right, I'm going to play it, though. Let's see, how long is this?
It's supposed to be 7 minutes.
No, this is 22 minutes. All right.
Uh-oh.
All right, that's not the one. Hold on. You, Jana and Rick, jam a little bit. Get me off.
Yeah. Well, let's
go find the video.
Well, yeah, I definitely wanted to react to John speaking.
House of Hope. Yeah.
Yeah, the House of Hope. That's really incredible that Nina Meyerhoff has been working with One Humanity Institute for so many years to make this happen. And Nina has been part of the circle with We the World for pretty much since 2004. She was one of the supporters for the launch of 11 Days of Global Unity, along with Marianne Williamson and Jane Goodall and Deepak Chopra and so many others. So Nina has been working in this field for so long, working with children, with children of the earth. So it's a very powerful statement that she has made now with this bakery that is housing the Ukrainian refugees.
Rick, you've worked with so many people over the years, and you keep throwing out names, you know, Desmond Tutu, Deepak Chopra. You know, when I first started with We the World, and you were mentioning all these names, I thought, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to fit in with everything, with all these amazing people, and yet, you know, you're close buddies with everybody. You know, they just come off your tongue like, yeah, my buddy here, my buddy there. And I just think that must be such an amazing experience for you over all these years.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, thank you. For me, it's kind of just like doing the work, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like what you're doing, like when you connect with the Poor People's Campaign, and,
yeah,
you know, connecting with Bishop
Barber and
William Barber
and Reverend Liz. I know it's exciting for me to think that at one point I was telling my mom that I think I want to start a movement. My mom is 91 years old right now, and I told her that when, you know, like 5 years ago, and she goes, oh, what kind of movement do you want to start? And I go, oh, I don't know, just a movement. And then I happened to be watching several years ago, I think it was 2017, and happened to see you doing one of the 11 Days of Global Unity broadcasts. I don't know how I came upon it. And I told you this story before, and I thought you were on your balcony of your high-rise apartment in New York. And you said, oh no, that wasn't what it was. And I thought, oh, well, anyway, it impressed me. And so I right then after that, I filled out the application to join as a volunteer, and I got something from Robert Levine, and I was like, wow, you know. But then when I first started coming to meetings, I thought, oh my gosh, this is too amazing. I really did feel pretty intimidated, because all these you know, the people that I was hearing speak, Heidi, and I remember Heidi. I can't remember who else I heard right now, but and now I'm very involved with We the World and taking on exciting roles, and it's my life, you know. It's what I do and what I enjoy doing, and I'm glad I can. It's something that anybody can be involved with, maybe not to my level, but you know, it definitely shows that there's something you can do, and being involved with the themes. John, have you found it yet?
You know what? Ben sent the wrong link. So
wow.
I know. I was
that thread. Yeah.
This is what he sent, and I clicked on it, and it looked like.
Yeah. Well, you know, Ben's just sitting around doing nothing, you know. So, you know.
Well, no, but you know what? So let me tell you a little bit. So what's so beautiful this year is that the 11 Days of Global Unity overlaps with Peace Week, and which starts a week from yesterday, or 6 days from today, on Saturday, September 17th. And during Peace Week, we have this Convergence, which is, again, embracing this new media that we're all a part of. I mean, look at this. It's amazing that we can connect like this and use not only Zoom for these synchronous moments, but also then the platforms for in between the times that we can meet up are emerging. It was Dr. King who said that those who love peace need to learn to organize as effectively as those who love war. And we have the technology. We're just now overcoming these patterns that we've been in that have caused the situations that we're facing. I mean, we're organized to produce results that nobody wants. And we need desperately the authenticity and the sincerity to really lean in, to overcome the pain, to deal with the grief and loss, and learn how to work together in unprecedented ways. So these convergences are that. I mean, I can show you what's happening on Peace Week just to give a glimpse of it, but there's so many remarkable folks who are going to lend their voices, like what's happening during the 11 days of global unity. But we also understand that it's all of us. It's not just the well-known voices that we need to hear from. We need to hear from all of us. This is not a time to be silent. And I know that I'm personally, the way I look at this, it's like there's 3 levels. There's the things that we're creating together. Like I can show you this beautiful timeline of events here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. But those things that we're creating together require that us kind of learn to work together in unprecedented ways. It's our collective capacity, and that's essential. But that's not going to happen unless each of us individually, our own personal development. So like for me, I'm learning to listen. It's clear to me that I haven't heard enough, not just of others, but even of myself, to say what is really for me to do at this time. It was Picasso who said the meaning of life is to find your gifts. The purpose of life is to give them away. So let me give you a little glimpse of what I'm talking about here, because we need unprecedented unified action. Now, can you see my little screen there?
Yes, that looks great. Thank you.
This is just a timeline of what's happening. And sure enough, here we are, right? And yesterday there was this Zen 2.0, starting from inner wisdom. And today is the 11 days of global unity kicks off with the 9/11 day of remembrance and service. And this whole week there's events that are leading up to it. So the youth, this is a big emphasis for so many of us right now, especially in this changing of the guard time. We cannot leave the youth unprepared to cope with unprecedented problems. So the UN has this youth observance happening on the 16th. Jyoti Ma and the Fountain has the Mother Earth delegation of the United Original Nations. You know how connected we are to the indigenous world. This is so essential. Next Saturday is Peace Week's opening ceremonies. That's when they're going to be doing the ribbon cutting for the Philip Helmick Peace Lab at the House of Hope in Auschwitz, like that. Then that next day begins the Up Convergence, which overlaps beautifully with all the stuff happening with the 11 days of global unity and those last campaigns there. Then we're looking at We the People. So Nemo Patel, one of my favorite artists, some of you know and love Nemo, he's got a new song he's going to premiere called We the People. Right? That's happening on the 20th. As well as there's a whole day the UN is supporting dedicated to global peace education. Let's get the educators aware about what's required to teach peace and to teach peacemaking, right? Then here's that youth convergence, end war, build peace together. Youth from all over the world connecting, hosted by this Peace Lab at the House of Hope. Unifies, got this Congress of World Peace that's happening on the 21st. Then this whole incredible World Peace Concert that Gary Malkin and many other signed members are behind as well. On the 21st is a remarkable day. The youth have this masterpiece, and they're doing these sky concerts, the idea that we're all under one sky, again, this theme of oneness. Now, for me, one of the most amazing pathways to peace is through gratitude. And Louis Schwartzberg has a film that he's made. Now, you know Louis, fantastic fun guy, and his moving art and his ability to do this time-lapse photography. Well, he's made a whole film devoted to gratitude. And sure enough, that day is World Gratitude Day, the International Day of Peace as well. Now, at the same time, I mean, this is an array of amazing things. In the Andes Mountains in Ecuador, Shri and Kira have built this pyramid of peace. It's remarkable. 7 stories high, all made out of bamboo and devoted to creating peace. And we're looking at putting these pyramids on different continents and different places, different hotspots where we really need the peace. And there, the Sacred Headwaters Initiative to preserve the Amazon is taking place. Amazing ceremony is going to be happening on the 21st, the International Day of Peace. Gratitude Revealed. There'll be a sharing online of this film that I mentioned earlier that Louis Schwartzberg did. There's a Connect-a-thon, 24 Hours for Humanity, happening right after on the 22nd, and the One Planet Peace Forum, and many, many more. This visualization I'm giving you is one kind of tool we're using to put our stuff together. It's the same thing, Rick, you and I have been talking about for so long, the Global Unity Calendar. These kinds of resources people are hungry for now that we're trying to see us together like we've never been before.
It's impossible to be hopeless through all of that. I mean, when you start being able to see everything that is happening, people, common people, you know, not necessarily visionaries, but they're visionaries in their own way and in their own world. And it's, you know, that's what I really like about doing the Global Unity Calendar. When Rick had me start doing it, and I thought, this just gives me so much hope. And then of course I got distracted, you know, and looking into what they did, which led to me to do something else that somebody else was doing. And I think, wow, you know, this is great. It's, you know, it's easy to get sucked into the gloom and doom and everything, but it's also just as realistic to see the positive that's happening. And why not concentrate on that?
No, exactly. We have a choice. We have a choice.
We have a choice, yes. And
choose love.
Choose love, choose hope, choose goodness, choose gratitude. And that's what I like about working with all the volunteers that we've been bringing on to We the World. As I've mentioned at the weekly meetings, I work a lot with the groups in Africa. And you know, I've told them, you know, when I was growing up, it just sounded like Africa, you know, like pain, suffering. And yes, there is pain and suffering. There's pain and suffering everywhere, but there's also a lot of hope and a lot of activism, a lot of people working for the better. And I get to know them. It's really exciting.
No, Jana, your work and the Poor People's Campaign and the things that we all, this Magic Canoe has got room for everyone.
It's more like a magic, I don't know, longboat.
Yeah. We say Magic Canoe, we're moving between worlds, right? The world no longer to a world not yet. And we're in a vehicle for traveling. Those of us.
It's like a magic spaceship too, you know.
If you're alive now, you got the golden ticket.
Yeah.
And we're counting on you to, you know, up the game personally, collectively, using our collective intelligence, our swarm creativity. Now, I mentioned a minute ago about gratitude revealed in this film. I'd love to share a brief message from Louis. Louis Schwartzberg has a really profound gift for telling stories and for sharing. And check this out. This is his message for us at this time. Why gratitude revealed now? Here's what Louis had to say. Well, hold on. I want to get the sharing right. Get the sound.
Get that audio.
I know. Make sure here's Louis.
I want to thank all of you for being here. You know, these are strange times because we're living under this malaise of disconnection and despair, from attacks against our democracy to depression about environmental degradation and this ongoing pandemic. We're going through a similar period of breakdown and breakthrough that we had during the repressive Nixon era. But the silver lining is that it spawned Earth Day and the liberation movements for women and people of color. Today, the battleground is really about consciousness, grabbing your attention. And politicians, they do it all the time by pushing your primal fear buttons. What we need to do is to fight that with beauty and wonder, stories that make us laugh or cry, connecting and opening our hearts to celebrate life. We need to be resilient and make our voices heard. That's why gratitude is needed now at this critical point in time and our lives. I made a film about gratitude because, given that my parents were both Holocaust survivors, growing up under their roof, I saw how they appreciated every little thing that came their way. Food on the table, a roof over their head, a steady job, and the miracle of having children. Seeing life through their lens of gratitude made me appreciate all the little things in life and to tell stories about people who overcome adversity but still have joy and love in their life. Gratitude is the umbrella that includes feeling connected to something larger than yourself, to having the courage to open your heart and feel compassion, and the courage to be a Jedi warrior to take on the biggest challenges. It's inside of all of us, and it's fueled by generosity, curiosity, and love. Be grateful is the one word I need to hear in order to center myself. So this isn't a self-help New Age movie. It's a journey through time where we meet remarkable everyday people who share their wisdom, and it's up to each of us to create the context of what it means to you. It's like looking into a mirror to connect with the universal truth that lives deep inside of your soul. I use technology, art, and science to capture magic moments, sharing it to open our hearts, to protect what we love, to shift consciousness in order to create a more sustainable and compassionate world. We're all eco-heroes. That's our mission and our calling. We all chose to be born in this time and place to face these critical challenges and working as a community to protect what we love and celebrate life. We are the changers, and this movement is unstoppable.
And we're all changers.
That's right. Eco-heroes.
That's wonderful. You know, it occurs to me that we hear so much about Facebook and Twitter being places where there's dissent and conflict and disinformation. But people like you, John, and Jana, and what we're doing with We the World, our social media is like a center of gratitude,
Yeah, that's how my
right?
algorithm is.
and it's like it's important to understand that these platforms can contain that movement toward unity and peace, and communicate that and radiate that in a big way, so that more and more people become aware that they can make that choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Rick, you're talking about something really important for us at this time. So the power of this new medium is incredible. The problem is those two resources you mentioned have developed this capacity to use these algorithms to return to shareholders the money that they're expected. It's the business model that underlies these things. So Facebook and Twitter are good examples, and Instagram, because they're very wise. They know everything we're doing and not doing. Even the pauses between clicks are data that are used to keep us engaged, because engagement leads to revenue for these guys. That's why you go to Twitter, people are screaming at each other. Facebook, this use of fear and hate and anger to keep us engaged is so they can make money. We need to be smart and know that. There are other platforms, like we're using Mighty Networks, that has a different business model, where you pay annually and you have the service, but you control what you see. It hasn't been targeted to you. We're the product on these things. And the problem with that is, especially for young women on Instagram, it's like poison. The compare and despair. They're looking at their friends' curated lives and wondering, why does my life not look like that? These tools are being used. And I'm not trying to say they're bad people, but that's the way economic justice, right, Janet? This is the way the economic system works here. Facebook and Twitter, they're obligated to return money to their shareholders. And therefore, they have to do these kind of things to keep us engaged in order to make their advertisers happy. Some people are very naive about this. They think it's about, I don't purchase stuff online. No, it's not about your purchasing online. You are the product online. Your time spent viewing, every time you click when you want to see that news story and they play that short little ad before, they just made money off of us. And it's not that making money's bad either, but they have tools the likes of which the AI capabilities most of us do not understand. It's not as simple as just recommendations coming on your Amazon shopping that you notice, but this is all the surveillance capitalism. I don't want to paint a boogeyman here, but that's what it is, and they're using those tools. We need to be smart enough to say, yep, there's a place for Facebook, there's a place for those resources, but there needs to be another place where it's genuinely safe and supportive and people can empty and be authentic. That's what we're doing. That's what we're building. We're building a beloved community. That's what we need right now. Real people stepping up to these real challenges that are adulting. We need to adult up. It's time for us. If we don't do it now, we're leaving our future generations in a huge hole, the likes of which none of us have ever seen before. It's like every day's a telethon. It's like one crisis after another it's got to affect all of us. We're all hurting. We got to be able to tell the truth about that and learn how to cope, learn how to come together and empty so we can be authentic, so we can be real and work there with each other. This is my call. This is a time unlike any other. I promise I'm going to do my very best to give all I got. That's all I'm asking everyone else to do. That's what We the World stands for. That's the vision of us coming together in unprecedented unified action.
Yeah, and it's such a tough time to be a parent now, too. I don't know if there's ever been an easy time to be a parent. I'm a parent of 2 adult children, but I learned early on that sticking your head in the sand is not the way to be. The way to be the better parent is to be raising your children to be good citizens of the world. And in order to be a good citizen of the world, you have to be aware. In order to be aware, you have to be educating and not stepping away from anything, not controlling to the point so that their world is too narrow and they don't know what's going on. That's not the way. So it's a tough time.
It's a tough time. And John, I have a question. How can the model, the algorithm model of things like Facebook and Twitter, et cetera, Instagram, how do we deal with the fact that engagement is their ultimate strategy, and that the tool that they use is conflict and sensationalism, even disinformation, because it's a very powerful engagement tool.
Yes.
And how do you deal with that? I understand other platforms like Mighty Networks and others.
Yep.
But it seems like there's an imbalance in terms of engagement between people who are getting aroused and angry, as opposed to others who are very, happy about what's going on and supportive. But it's, it seems like there's an engagement imbalance. So how do we deal with that?
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's the thing. It's human nature that gets us triggered and engaged the way we do. I know when I get an email from someone upset or someone in pain or someone that it kind of sucks me in. That's life, right? These guys are using that. They're effectively, and unfortunately, a lot of it is lies. This is this thing where in this post-truth world, where the problem with propaganda isn't that people believe it, it's people start to believe nothing. Ask people, well, who do you trust? Who do you believe? I don't know. I mean, I've been stunned at how gullible so many people are in our country here in the U.S. that have chosen to continue to believe that there's no wrong that any one individual can do, that somehow there are people above the law. So this human nature to get hooked that way, they're just exploiting that. Now, that's not their fault. But they're doing it. They're doing it to make money, and that's the way the business world is set up. That's the world we live in. We have to learn how to remain calm within ourselves, to not take the bait.
And search for the truth.
That's right. That's right. And we need, trusted sources. Each of us need to have a bullshit detector on and know really wait a minute here. And when we know how to have love and compassion for the people that get swept along into these narratives, and it's really unprecedented. Lies and politics and democracy are all stirring in an incredible way. And we're going to see during the 11 days of global unity, thematically, how these challenges are affecting us. But the truth is, there's a lot of people that are really hurting, that have lost everyone's life could be, my life was going this way and then COVID came. It's like a fill in the blank. And then COVID came. So, but for some of us, it's been a blessing in that now we're using this media. I mean, everyone understands Zoom. Zoom became a household word. Zelensky's been able to run around the world on Zoom, being at the World Economic Forum, at the Academy Awards, and raise a ton of money and support for what's happening over there. So we should embrace this medium. Jonathan Granoff talks about this. It was 1648, Westphalia. There were these religious wars in Europe. That's when nation states got made up. And we've been operating as if who we are rooted in the places that we are. Like, I'm an American because I live here. And all this nationalism and Christian nationalism now on top of that. The truth is, we're not rooted in place anymore. This new media bringing us together around values. When you get on Zoom, I no longer can say good morning because half the people on the call may be in the middle of the night for them. So you have good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
And it makes setting up meetings incredibly difficult.
And I know, but now distance is no longer a factor. It's removed that from our way of organizing. Therefore, we can get out of the box because nation states are failing us. We can't fix climate change and pandemics and terrorism and refugees with the nation state model. You watch them just get to the same old pattern of fighting each other. We need to learn how to unify in unprecedented ways. That's why we, the people, we, the digital connected people, are the voice for the future. This is where it's going to happen. It's either going to happen here or it's not going to happen at all.
Exactly. And one of the things that you touched on that I think is super important is this idea of finding reliable sources of good information, of truthful information. We the Trends magazine at trends.we.net, which is Trends in Global Grassroots Organizing magazine, we periodically put out a list of media sources that we consider to be reliable and also impartial to a certain extent. Not 100% impartial, but I mean, it's impossible to be 100% impartial, and that gets into a problem with the media where, you know, it's like saying, oh, well, one side says the Holocaust doesn't exist, and on one side, the Holocaust does exist. No, you can't do that. And so the media has to get away from one side ism. But there are media outlets that handle that, and we do a list of them. And you know, I would love to see a media and communication campaign launched with we consciousness embedded, of course, because this would be a non-partisan kind of campaign, but just to begin to penetrate that bubble where people are just not getting information, and you know, it affects vaccine issues, and you know, there's so many different things it affects. So anyway, I just wanted to mention reliable sources is such an important
and reaching
thing.
Youth too, because let's face it, youth are our future, and the youth have to be really aware of just everything that's going, not whatever kind of thing they're being told on Instagram or wherever, from their communities, from in their homes, in their schools or not. You know, like how education is being threatened now with what they, you know, are calling the way to, you know, to teach what's the word they're calling it?
CRT.
Yes, when it wasn't even being taught, but they're making a big deal about it. And it's scary to be a teacher. It's scary to be on a school board, and all those things I used to be very involved with. It's just like, yikes, you know, it's got to change.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And Media literacy is also a part of what we're talking about. It used to be that media literacy was taught to children growing up, to give them the tools to understand who is behind the media. How is media used to communicate disinformation, for example?
I mean, the Marshall McLuhan approach, medium is the message.
Yeah. But I mean, that's part of the thing, you can begin to become media literate. So you see a clip of somebody like a politician or someone saying something, and then you see, another scene, like an audience, and then it goes back to that same politician. And if you are up on what media is doing, you can realize that somebody's doing an edit there in order to make it seem like they're saying one thing right into the other.
There's now deep fakes.
Yeah.
They can, with
alternative facts.
Well, the alternative fact, okay, yes, but no, I'm saying, photoshopping like that has gone to a new level, okay?
That's right.
So they have the capability to take any one of us, record enough of us, and put that into AI, and then all of a sudden it's you, Tom Cruise, saying things that Tom Cruise never said. And people can't differentiate. I mean, this is an important turning point, the power of these tools and how they're being used. That's why, I don't want to sound like a professor, but I did study the philosophy of language, okay?
Yes.
And there's a
same
difference.
here.
Okay. So John Searle, doing things with words. An assertion is different than an assessment. In other words, let me tell you, an assertion is a promise to provide evidence. If I say, my name is John Raymer, you have a right to say, well, let me see your passport. Let me see your birth certificate.
And then you might still doubt that.
Now, that's different than an assessment.
Exactly.
Okay, John Raymer's a nice guy, okay? Now, you may be able to ground that with assertions, but people confuse the two. So in business, for instance, your cash position, that's an assertion. How much profit you made, that's an assessment. It depends how you count profit. Is that before tax? Is that after tax? And we need to know, and we mix these things up. Oftentimes, people are making assessments, their judgments, their opinions, but they speak as if they're assertions. And that's where we get confused. Now, for those of you who want to unpack that or want to know more about that, contact me, because I believe media literacy and what Rick's saying, we need to learn how to listen and understand
and discern.
What's being
listen and discern.
That's right. You can't
just listen because you might be listening to alternative facts. That's like in sociology, we always learn coincidence does not equal causation. And it's easy to mix those two up, put the two together and come up with a default assumption.
That's right. And I put all of the mainstream media in the same bucket as Facebook and Twitter, and that they're also responsible to their shareholders. And they're also motivated. If it bleeds, it leads. They know the things that are going to get our attention and get us hooked and get distracted.
It's like watching the accident on the highway and being distracted by that and not paying attention to anything else.
Exactly. So I don't fault these people for playing.
No, because we're human beings.
That's where we are. We got to take responsibility for the fact that if we choose to give ourselves to this stuff, we shouldn't be surprised that it's intoxicating and that it's totally bringing us hopelessness and despair. That's
and I think
gratitude. That's why Rudy's film. That's his point. You start with gratitude. What are we grateful for?
Absolutely. And maybe one can't really learn to be grateful until one has been through something. I for instance, lost children. And so as a parent, I certainly viewed motherhood again through different eyes. And other people would talk about their birth experiences and I was just like, I don't care how this baby comes out. That baby can come out through my nose for all that matters. Just as long as the baby lives, you know,
oh,
that's the thing. It's not my birth experience and how everything is going to go so wonderfully and no changes from that. I mean, to me, because of where I've been.
well, that is incredibly vulnerable for you to share, Jenna. Oh my gosh, the loss of a child.
True.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
I had a twin pregnancy, something happened, and but that's a whole nother story in the way they're viewing as when life begins. For the baby that was stillborn at this time in Colorado, I didn't even get a death certificate. It was a complimentary death certificate. And so now I listen to people talking about when life begins and everything, and I think, huh, you know, I mean,
Wow.
it was 30 some years ago, but here's where we're at today. And of course, I can talk about it now because I had to learn to be able to talk about it and go on. And I think there are lots of people who have had experiences and they can't talk about it. And that affects their life in, I think, a sad and bitter way. I prefer to feel honored and blessed.
All right, well, wait a minute. You just opened up a really important topic here because it's through the indigenous world that I've come to see that it was pointed out that in our culture, we don't have places to empty.
Mm.
Not have safe and supportive places where people, like you said, like somehow you were supposed to gloss over this or just never having that kind of place. When you see in the indigenous culture, you can sweat it out. They have sweat like you dance it out. You
Mhm.
you puke it out. You've got to have
Exactly.
a safe enough place where you can really empty. And that is what we all need that now. And Jenna, thank you so much for sharing that to open up this. This is one of the coping strategies we all need to have. Is to, and you know, another thing I've learned, they call it your sit spot. Kind of a place where you go every day,
Mm.
sit, and you can begin to appreciate it, and preferably in nature.
Mm.
We need to learn from nature. Maybe worse than white supremacy is human supremacy. This whole
Exactly.
idea that
And
now we're
woman supremacy, if you ask me.
I
Yeah.
mean, so thank you for sharing that. Oh my gosh.
Well, see,
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's considered uncouth to just sort of like drop that into conversation, you know, because everybody's going to be so uncomfortable, they're not going to know what to say or how to react. And yet I do because I remember them. And, you know, for Maureen, who was stillborn, I was the only one that knew her because I had
Wow.
felt her inside me.
Ah,
And everybody forgets that she existed, probably even in my own family, you know, because I've gone on. But my kids always knew that what happened. And no, I did not build a shrine to them, but you know, certainly I remember them.
Hmm.
So thank you for letting me share.
no, you
Sure.
see, but even more that those ideas, it's not uncouth. You know, all those rules don't work anymore.
Not to me, but
Not to me either. Okay.
I'm not much of a rule follower. So anyway,
Authenticity, authenticity grants authority.
that's me.
You know, I want to share with you some words. You ever heard of this guy, Mark Twain?
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
You ever heard of this guy? You know what he said? He said, life is short, break the rules.
Yeah.
Forgive quickly, kiss slowly,
Mm.
love truly, laugh uncontrollably, and never regret anything that makes you smile.
Well, as an old person now, I feel very allowed to kind of say what I think. You know, in my younger days, no, I couldn't have done that. You know, I would have been nervous even been doing this, but these days I'm not nervous. I just say what I think and hope that
And
everyone understands.
thank you, Jenna, for using the platform of We the World
Yes,
to say what you think.
that's
Well,
right.
And John, of course, and all of us.
Rick's pretty used to my just saying what I think, and I think sometimes he goes, "Oh."
You see, these are the patterns, guys. Okay, so I've been learning about nature. The situations we're in are caused by these patterns. And these patterns are caused by the relationships we have, how we relate to each other. Look what we've done with sign as an example. Trusted sharing, people creating a new pattern in which we're trusting each other and using what we have to turn what we have into what we need. So I believe if we change the way we relate and make it safe enough for people to say the things like you shared, Jana, that's a new pattern. That'll change the situation. Situation's not going to change until the patterns change. Things won't be different unless we do things differently. And I'm so grateful to We the World and for our time here to get the word out about Peace Week, get the word out about the House of Hope. Hope I didn't jump to hope too soon. I know we're still deep in unity and we need it.
We need it.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
it's
great.
all related, so it's okay to talk about any of the themes, you know, anything that's happening. And I'm so glad that you were able to come on and share everything that you're doing, because you are one of my most fascinating people that I know, and as is Rick, Ben Bowler, Becky, you know, all the people that I've been meeting through World Unity Week. And I'll be there in the hub later. One of my earlier goals, I told this to Becky, I think last year or the year before, is that my goal is to learn how to work in the hub. And here you belong. And then I realized,
right.
Yeah. And then I realized, you know what? I used to be a temp secretary. All I have to do is be there and take a message. And then, you know, but I did forget. I could have remembered to get a phone number. So now I know, get a phone number or contact information. I can be in the hub all day long, you know, and give somebody a bathroom break or a lunch break or whatever. So I'll be there because I have fun doing it.
That's great.
That is
so as we wind up.
What? We can't keep going?
No, we could easily go.
No, it's going. All right. It's all right.
But I just wanted to say thank you to Jana and John and Callum, and who's kind of behind the scenes making this all happen. And Angel, exactly. And I would say this has really been an incredibly inspiring discussion. And thank you, you on speakers, as well as all of you watching this, for helping to kick off 11 Days of Global Unity 2022. I also wanted to do a shout out to Paul Slatkus and Good News Broadcast for producing a press conference right in Times Square, New York City, with We the World and other partners, broadcast by Unify and all of the partners, the 99 Days, Sign Network, Unity Earth, and all of the partners. And it's happening on September 11th, the first day of 11 Days of Global Unity. So it's all about we, right? So let's go from a me society to a we society. So together we can create a world that works for all. Go to we.net to get involved. Much love to all.
Join us tomorrow.
Beautiful.
And each day of the 11 days. Thank you.
I'll be back.
Okay. Thank you all, and bye-bye.